Internet of Things makes our cars driverless, our homes connected, our cities smart, and factories run seamlessly. Artificial intelligence combined with IoT data is where the business value is created. Imagine yourself in the driverless world. I will teach you to pivot your career and innovate in your business using IoT, AI, and autonomous vehicles. Let's begin your journey with me today. Hi Igor, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
We both just stepped out of the Autonomous Vehicle Planet at the Silicon Valley Planet event. Igor was talking to me about the Uber accident. Tell me a little bit about your background.
I'm an engineer. I'm working on autonomous vehicle technology right now. I worked at Nvidia, but this is not an official representation of the company. This is just a private comment.
So you're talking about the Uber accident in
Yes.
Arizona? A pedestrian walking a bicycle was struck and killed by an Uber self-driving car.
What happened there is that the technology worked, but the system that was supposed to execute the braking was turned off.
So that is a conscious decision in the control module of the Uber?
Yeah, okay, that's an interesting twist. As far as I understood, this is like an experimental software. They had this testing program where a number of cars were deployed on the road. They collected data about disengagements when human driver has to take control. You actually count in number of disengagements per mile of driving.
Every time a disengagement happened, they had to report to the DMV.
Yes, actually, I think that's true. The part of the story that has a twist here is that why the system was turned off.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was turned off was that the system actually experienced what's known as a ghost braking. So essentially, it's sort of a, I call it a hallucination, right? So basically, you have some AI, car that's driven by this artificial intelligence technique, and essentially sometimes, a situation can occur that it actually sees something that's not there and it decides to brake.
So is it one of those false positives?
Yeah, it's like acting on a false positive trigger, and when you are a safety driver in this, and like you're driving in this and you have a clear road, but the car suddenly brakes kind of very abruptly, and what's going on? Essentially, this is not good, even illegal, to execute this type of maneuver.
Yeah.
And I think what was happening is that Uber had so many of these occurrences actually, being reported, and they just said, okay, we just turning it off, we just collected data.
Is so many false positive actually a sign that the algorithm was not fully developed?
It is a system in development. This type of thing is expected to happen. From the engineering standpoint, what's happening, and this is like very simplistic description. Somewhere in the system, you have a threshold that sort of tells you, okay, you have a certain confidence in this event being true that you act on it. Right?
Yeah.
You actually kind of report it. You actually trigger some path that let's say applies the brake or whatever. Increase the speed, decrease the speed. The engineering team has to make very smart choices about the thresholds. And essentially, that's not an easy process because the system can be very complex. Maybe, that threshold value is not good enough, or, it hasn't accounted all the situations that sort of are valid or not valid, and, it's just not working really well like it's supposed to work. So, basically, your algorithm is still not in a state where it's ready for production. This technology goes through a development cycle, so you cannot expect sort of a product level performance and features, something that's being developed. And
it is true in all AI where there are gaps that it doesn't have the right training data.
I test AV technology pretty much every week. All kind of things can happen. For example, maybe even situation when something takes too much of a computer time, and the actual control software doesn't get enough CPU cycles, so that it sort of starts reacting to the input very slowly, and then now you have to find the reason why this is happening and fix it, because this is just development process. That's it.
So that must be happening in pretty much every AV pilot that is going on. So somebody is internally, some product manager or someone in the company, and they're sending these cars out on a pilot, is making that decision that
Correct,
we
yeah,
will
yeah, correct.
ignore this many signals or this kind of signals.
Correct, but I mean, sometimes engineers make those decisions. I think, being a test driver, because I am a certified autonomous vehicle operator. I have special license that's official from California DMV. You actually go through a very strict or very rigid process of get that certification. You have to comply to certain set of rules. You have to sort of be very alert. There's this thing called situational awareness.
Yeah.
I think it comes from the airline industry, right? You need to know what's happening not only in front of the car, but maybe around the car. And there's many things. And essentially, you have to be ready to take control. And Nvidia does this testing program. We actually have 2 certified drivers. So there's a pilot and co-pilot. It's more kind of safer testing setup that I think my company has, that you actually have 2 certified drivers, and it's similar to airplane, when you have a pilot and co-pilot second pilot.
So when Uber came back and said now we are safe, then they must have changed that. And they improved the algorithm.
I assume they don't want to kill more people. That's
nobody
absolutely
wants
given.
it. Nobody wants it.
No, this was a wake-up call. Now the industry is much more aware of hey, we
Decisions
have to be,
engineers have baked in.
yeah, we have to be aware of we don't want to kill more people, right?
Yeah.
That's just imagine the gravity of this situation, right? You have to design safety system. If you do this testing, you have to actually be alert, monitor the road, and just make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you.